There it is. Cool. Hello, everybody. If you're wondering why the video looks absolutely insane, please read the description, swing by the next stream, I'll talk about it. It's a very long story, but this is how I can share this video with you, hopefully. So let's get right to it, and I'm just gonna hop on my Switch for a while. Cool. All right.
We have a lot to talk about today. I'm going to be talking about the Merrell Twins Holiday Wishlist Live, which was a live stream from earlier this week. I think it was November 15th that it originally aired, and now, of course, there's an archive version of the live stream on their YouTube channel. So going into this, I had no idea who the Merrell Twins were. Have you heard of them? I've been asking around. I've been asking friends, family members too. I was like, has anybody heard of these people before? No one has, but they are apparently very popular. But to cut to the chase, they did a massive 3-hour, in quotes, we'll get to that, live stream sponsored by Walmart, Verizon, and Samsung. So we've got to be talking about big money here for them to do this sponsored live stream, and the whole thing is just them hawking products, and then they shoehorn in other influencers of kind of their level, or maybe that appeal to their same demographic, to also hawk more products at the viewers. I get the sense that most of their audience is pretty young girls, like teenage girls. I don't know for sure, but that's the vibe I get. And I don't know why YouTube, I guess just because of the money behind it, YouTube kept recommending this live stream to me. The day of, 3 or 4 times, it was the top banner ad. You couldn't miss it. I don't know if you guys got that too. And I was like, what is it? Who are these people? They're twins. It's this big sponsored corporate chill live stream thing. Okay, whatever. Very late that day or the next day, I thought, you know what? I'm going to watch it. I'm going to try to watch this, because who knows? You can't judge things by appearances. Good things can come from anywhere. You got to stay open, and I'm so happy that I watched this live, and not just once. I have now watched it, oh my gosh, about 2 or 3 times in full. My very first watch, it was basically a challenge to myself, and that's how I would recommend this to other people too, is see how much you can watch. See how long you can watch this live stream. It is some of the most intense, cringe comedy, anxiety-inducing, supposed entertainment that I've come across in a very long time. I think it's basically perfect in being just a complete mess. Just so many things are wrong here, and at least for me, they're wrong in an incredibly entertaining way. So here's how we're gonna approach this. It's so tough. I thought about doing a big scripted thing for this, but like, given the nature of how awful and how poorly produced the live stream itself was, I don't feel like my video about the live stream should be organized at all. And yeah, like I said, if you're into cringe comedy, if you're into like weird artifacts of like the current internet age and sponsored content and live streaming, this is for you. And yes, I will be showing some of my own personal highlights from the stream, but I do think that even if you watch my whole video, you will still get a lot of value from watching the stream for yourself. So I highly recommend it. So before we get into some of my favorite moments from the stream, I'm going to give a little bit of background on who the Merrell Twins are, because I had no idea who they were. And I'm also going to give some disclaimers because I don't want this video to come off the wrong way. I want to be very honest about my intentions here. Let's do all that stuff first. Who are the Merrell Twins? Identical twins, originally from Kansas City, I believe. Their family, it's tricky to tell in these situations, but they've been involved in show business in some capacity from a pretty early age. I think their earliest acting role was in some commercial when they were about 12 years old. You don't get much from the Wikipedia article on these guys. Obviously, their public image is squeaky clean. In fact, they were apparently somehow involved on the Disney Channel for a brief time. The phrasing is very weird in the Wikipedia article. It makes sense. They come off as like Disney Channel now kids. They look very young, but I think they were born in 96. They're like 23, 24. And for one thing, it outright says that their dad has been like producing and handling a lot of the technical stuff for their videos for a long time. He's also just apparently been a big part of them being involved in show business. They moved out to LA when they were like 16, something like that. They've had a couple of roles. They were in Jane the Virgin for a little bit, a couple of other very small parts, but more or less nowadays they're just influencers. Maybe they're also still trying to get acting roles, but they're influencers, and pretty big ones at that. Just looking at their YouTube channel, over 6 million subscribers. So we are very much talking about like extremely high level, professionalized YouTube stuff. You know the type, like the Paul brothers, those and people like that, where at least in my experience they don't tend to make very high quality stuff, but they have a following and they're monetizing that following. Their channels might even get bought out by like major media companies because they see it as an investment opportunity. Basically, they're not the underdogs, and that's something I need to make clear from the very start. There's a possibility, I'm certainly not implying anything here, it's all just speculation. I get the sense that their dad is kind of a stage dad and that he's been pushing for them to be in show business. Maybe that's not true. As we all know, there's a bit of a history to like specifically fathers or parents in general really pushing their children very, very hard.
That's
from
Leopold
early
Mozart,
age,
by the
via
way.
potentially
I forgot to put
abusive
some text.
relationships for the sake of monetary gain,
Allegedly.
vicarious accomplishment, maybe. You know, parents who treat their children like resources who can benefit them in some way. I'm not saying that's what's happening here. The question was raised in my mind, and the dad does show up. Don't you worry, he's in the stream, and his segment is fantastic. The internet says that the Merrell twins are also musicians and singers.
Yeah.
The reason I say that, I get the sense that their fan base is mostly like young girls or young people in general, is that, well, for one thing, they look awfully young. The stuff that they tend to produce just tends to be that kind of, you know, sort of baiting of parasocial relationships. We're like, oh, we're buddies, we're super normal, but we're also kind of celebrities, so like, you can hang out with us, you know, and we're gonna do streams, and we post these videos, and we work with these other influencers, stuff like that. There are like 17 magazine articles that have like fun facts, and there's like speculation about who they're dating. And while I won't say that any of that kind of stuff, that like celebrity culture stuff or speculation about personal lives of real people from their fan base, like, I won't say that all of that stuff is 100% bad. It does kind of gross me out a lot of the time, but okay, if people enjoy it, if kids enjoy doing this kind of stuff, if they enjoy following these celebrities, whatever. But then when we get into the area of, yeah, those potential parasocial relationships with those influencers, and especially when those influencers are advertising extremely heavily to their fan base, the ethical stuff starts to become a much bigger issue, which we can't get into right now in its entirety, but I just wanted to put that out there because this whole thing is just 100% advertisement. Just buy this. This is something you'll probably buy this for a family member, stuff like that. They have multiple different ways for the viewers of the stream, live or archive version, to immediately get links to the products on the sponsor websites and stuff like that. So, like I said, they're not the underdogs. I'm also not just out to tear them down, and specifically I wanted to mention that it's a pretty well-established thing at this point that the entertainment industry as a whole, which includes influencers now and social media stuff, it tends to be very unkind, well, to people in general, but especially to women, people who are members of marginalized groups. Like, these people can get treated really horribly by the entertainment industry, especially when it comes to the internet making fun of entertainment figures, celebrities, and stuff. The internet seems to be especially vicious towards young girls or people who are maybe already on the margins in some way. And sort of the flagship example of that in recent memory is Rebecca Black and Friday, where, like, you know what, it really wasn't this little girl's fault that, like, okay, she wanted to be a singer, her parents had some money, and this other guy, this sleazebag, used her and like knew that this would probably go viral in a bad way, and that she herself, Rebecca Black, had to take like the brunt of the abuse and the horrible stuff being said about her online. And I don't want to do that kind of thing here. And in fact, I'll even say that while I'm not especially, I don't think I can call myself a fan of the Merrell twins, and I don't have any special respect for them, given this live stream, from certain angles, they might be the heroes of the story. It's just a guess, but I prefer to see them that way, where there's some villain off screen who we're not seeing, who's pushing them into all this terrible stuff. And
probably
they just feel
Awesomeness
like they have to do
TV,
it. I'm not trying to
which it
attack
turns
anybody,
out is
but
just
I'm not going
Viacom.
after the Merrell twins specifically here.
I do want to go
Bad
after
people.
Awesomeness
This stream,
TV.
Let's just talk about it. I'm hitting the button. It's time to talk about the stream.
All right, folks, here we go. This is the stuff.
So, I've been so excited since I first watched this stream. I've been sending links to everybody. I've been talking to friends,
Yeah.
trying forcing friends to watch it and stuff. Just like you have to see this. You have to see this. It's wonderful. Like it's so perfect. Yeah, I've just felt very buzzed about it. I knew I had to make some kind of video, even though this isn't quite in line with what I usually make. The holiday season is apparently a very big time for YouTubers, especially professional YouTubers making significant amounts of money from their channel. I understand the original incentive to do this stream. Whether or not the Merrell Twins Incorporated, or whatever their LLC is, whether they approached all these big brands to do a sponsorship, or whether all of these
Viacom.
brands happened to approach them, I have no
Viacom.
idea. I have to imagine they put out just a huge amount of money for all these sponsorships, because the whole thing, there's never a break. It really is just sponsorships the entire time. And on top of that, if you're just watching this on a normal YouTube account without the, very expensive, $15 a month YouTube Red or Premium or whatever they call it now, there are
What do they call it now?
many ad breaks
There's
in
a lot.
this stream. I assume they weren't there live. I didn't watch it live, but when you watch the archive version, I'd have to go back and check the numbers, but it feels like roughly every 3 minutes, maybe every 5 minutes on average, you have ads for, oh look, it's Walmart, oh look, it's Verizon, Samsung stuff. I don't know. When I see other creators do like sponsorships at the front of a video, even if these creators tend to put a bunch of ads in their videos anyway, if they're doing sponsor content, they will roll it back. They'll be like, you know what, I'll have way fewer ads, or I just won't put any ad rolls in because I'm essentially doing an ad in the video itself. But here, no. We're going ham. Just as much advertising as they could jam into this thing. They do say in multiple places that this was a 3-hour stream. They say it in the stream, I believe.
Amazing sponsors, Walmart, Verizon, for making this 3-hour extravaganza possible.
It's in the description of the stream still. Check out the time code. Not quite 3 hours. And I have no idea what happened there. They even comment on this, sort of, towards the middle of the stream, where they're like, how much time do we have left?
How much time is left? Okay, it's 5:05. That means
Oh my
we
God.
have some time left, but not a
Oh,
lot.
it's so good.
We have 2 hours left.
No,
I don't know if they
who
didn't
said
have
that?
enough Planned. I don't know if a lot of the segments just ran short, but that brings us to the root of the matter, which is that this stream is so poorly produced, it makes my stuff look professional. It's
Even this
very hard
one.
to research this. I couldn't find like a specific production company attached. I figured maybe they hired people to run cameras and stuff.
It's through
and rented a
Awesomeness
studio
TV, by the way.
space or something like that. I can't find anything. So at this point, I have to assume they were doing it themselves, like they already have some crew people or something like that they can use consistently, or maybe Dad and the rest of the family were just like running around working cameras and stuff. It's a train wreck. It is a train wreck in the most
this segment.
beautiful way. One of the biggest things
Oh my God.
is just timing, and I get that I know this stuff must be difficult, just the logistics of live production, and you have to have live switchboards going, and you have multiple cameras going, you have to switch those around, you have to have someone running the show, calling the shots, you have to have talented people who know what they're doing, who've worked in live production before. At times it almost feels like nobody is behind the camera.
Yeah.
There are moments when it just feels like, I don't know, a cat sitting behind a tripod, and they were like, that'll be fine. There's... Yes, I'm sure it's difficult, but at the same time, 6 million subscribers. You guys are making money. This is a massive sponsored stream. Could some of the sponsorship money from Walmart, could that not have paid for, like, I don't know, USC students who know how to work cameras and sound?
It would have
to come
looked
out
so much
and be
better.
Like, hey, we'll help you out. I do not get the sense that anyone was in charge here. I don't feel that there was any sort of real plan. They don't seem to have any experience at all with this level of live production, and the results are absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't have it any other way. So one of the biggest problem points on the production side of things is just audio. Woof. Especially early in the stream, they just don't know what the levels should be, and even throughout the stream as a whole, the levels are much lower than they should be. They're not normalized, which is a thing it's a thing where you basically have it at like an industry standard volume. It's not technically volume, but that's what we'll say here. So everything sounds like the same level. A show should sound about as loud as a commercial. Different shows should sound
on
like
average,
they're at about the same levels too. Music at this point needs to all be normalized. I wouldn't have noticed it quite as much that the levels were so low, except for those constant ad roll breaks. There's so many ads and they're so loud all of a sudden. It's just like, what the it's so jarring every single time. And you also have to ask yourself why Walmart thinks it needs a commercial in the middle of a giant commercial. This is difficult. This is difficult to talk about in any kind of concise way. But aside from the generally low levels that they have here, okay, so they chose to use lapel mics or lavalier mics, they're called sometimes. They're little clip microphones. Basically, all of them are wireless at this point. So a microphone clips to your shirt or whatever. It has a little wire that goes to a mic pack, and that transmits the audio to a recording system, a multi-track recorder thing, and that's how they record audio, broadcast the audio. And I guess it makes sense. I guess it wouldn't have made sense to have like a boom operator. Certainly a live boom operator would be insane, but you could just set up a boom mic, right? But then
anything else, put a Yeti,
so it wouldn't catch.
Put a Yeti on a table.
So okay, I kind of get the choice to do the lav mics, but it seems like the people on camera, specifically the Merrell twins, are not familiar with these mics, even though they probably should be at this point, since they've been working in entertainment for a very long time. For one thing, they're knocking the mics all the time. Sometimes it's not even their fault. They have a competition. The competition is just to put on the largest number of sweaters in a certain amount of time. And it's like, how did they think that wouldn't mess up the audio? Like, you're literally risking bumping the microphone every single time you put on a sweater or adjust something.
No!
Oh my god.
Wait, what sweater is this?
Oh.
Okay. This is one.
There are other times, especially past the halfway point in the stream, where, oh my god, they just peak the audio. So, peaking the audio, it's when basically
you know when you hear it
is too loud for the microphone to handle, and therefore the sound gets distorted. And you really want to avoid this unless you're doing it for a specific effect, because it sounds awful and it destroys the audio quality. It's really hard to salvage normal sounding audio from peaked audio recording. Here, they're peaking the audio quite a lot, and I get it, like they're yelling.
Well.
Jesus Christ.
Who is working sound? This is why you have people that work sound. You hire someone who knows what they're doing, because they can live hopefully adjust for that in time, or set things up ahead of time so you know how loud they're going to be at max, so you can adjust the levels accordingly. Maybe have a compressor in the loop to help smooth things out a bit. I guess they just didn't. They just didn't, or no one was actually working the audio the whole time, or the person working there just didn't care or something. In the very beginning, the audio is way too low and they just awkwardly adjust it. In one of the other early segments, the twins just don't have audio for a while. Someone was really slow at the slider, I guess. It just didn't make it in time.
Happy holiday shopping.
Oh my god, here we go. Look. This is real. Who's the breath? What is...
Oh my gosh, what else? framing and blocking is a big thing. Again,
Someone
sure,
just
it's very
sighing.
difficult. Live production, you probably just have one set and you need to dress it and reset it very quickly in between segments, move things around, maybe move cameras. But then still, you end up with this really awkward blocking and framing, something just blocking the face of one of the people participating, and they have this tiny love seat couch, and at one point there are 4 adults on the couch. It looks so awkward. And the last overarching thing I wanted to comment on is just the sense of on-camera energy. I'm not part of the Merrell twins fan base. Maybe part of their shtick is that they seem kind of awkward and cute, and they stumble over their words, and they kind of talk over each other sometimes, and maybe that's it feels authentic or something, or maybe this is something that just happened with this live stream because they were really frazzled. And I will say I respect their Merrell twins for doing this. The idea of doing a 3-hour live stream that has a bunch of ad reads and sponsor stuff, and you need to make the sponsors happy, it makes me want to just walk into the woods and live a life alone. I don't think I could handle that. I'm sure it was extremely stressful. They're on camera basically all of the time for roughly 2 hours, and that is gotta be draining, especially if you're not in the mood that day, you're having a rough day.
I've been feeling less charitable about it lately.
Can you imagine the challenge of being bright and bubbly and energetic the whole time? But regardless,
it's
most
also
of
their
the
job.
time that the Merrell twins are just sort of supposed to be having banter with each other, or they're supposed to somewhat organically talk about how great this one product is and how you should buy it for people. It's very uncomfortable. I think it just feels messy. It doesn't feel authentic, except maybe in the sense that they didn't rehearse anything. There's certain moments, oh my god, especially during the contest segments, where I can't watch the contest for very long because just hearing them trying to constantly talk at each other and say I don't know, clever or cute things or whatever, it's very difficult, and it makes me extremely anxious, and I don't think that was the intention, but it just keeps happening.
Orange juice! Grape juice!
Oh my god.
Apple juice!
Oh my god.
This looks like a Santa hat. Wait, you think so? No. What? Okay, we need to taste it. Come on, let's go. Okay.
Whoa, yours looks like a Santa hat. Wait, you think so? Well, no. What? Okay, we need to taste it. Well, maybe. Come on, let's go. Okay.
Oh my goodness, one of my favorite moments is towards the end where I don't know, there are these people, I assume they're music-related influencers, and they're supposed to come up with a holiday-themed song about the Crosley Cruiser turntable, which you can buy at Walmart. They're just on camera coming up with their ideas, but doing this exaggerated whispery voice, and it stresses me out. It stresses me out so much.
Stop. Stop.
It makes my skin crawl, and I feel I don't know, I get limbic system stuff. I'm getting into fight or flight mode.
What do you think
because
they were taking on
to
set,
stare at
right?
the screen and
These
listen
are not
to this
sober
audio.
people, right?
What else? I guess I should talk about just some of my highlights because I've already talked for way too long about this whole thing.
Oh boy, we're getting to the end. Don't worry, we're getting
Epic
there.
rap battles with a W. They rap presents in a 5-minute time span. One of them raps a cotton candy maker, available at Walmart, and then the other one, they're both dressed in Walmart clothes, by the way. That's important to note.
Yes,
and the other
they
one
mentioned that.
tries to rap a big giant bicycle, which is also available at Walmart. And apparently 5 minutes was way too much time, at least for the amount of effort they were willing to put in this. Let's take a look at how Blue Twin wraps the bike. Here we go. I'll do a time lapse. That's it. Okay, and now at this part you'll see that she's just putting bows on it. She's like, what do I do? We have way too much time. Why did we say this would be 5 minutes? Okay, bows. Maybe I can turn it into a comedy bit that I didn't wrap it very well. And again, the banter. Oh, the banter.
I don't know how to do this. I don't really know how to do this either.
they bring Dad on, Paul Merrell. Their segment, they have the Merrell shaver available at Walmart, and the plan is, we're spin a wheel, see what hairstyle, and then we shave his face to be that hairstyle, which is kind of, I guess that's kind of a cute idea. Like, you're getting the product in there. Okay, Dad's willing, he's got a beard, he's ready to go, he's on board, he's maybe the one pushing for all this stuff in the first place. But then it just ends up like this. And one of my favorite things to do during this segment is to just keep my eyes locked on the Dad's facial expressions, because he starts out looking like this, and then towards the end of the segment, he looks like this. He just looks like either completely empty and sad, or just like actively upset about how everything is going, but still trying to kind of look normal or something. Ooh, just what's going on behind those eyes? What did it feel like to be on that set? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? What else we got? We have live painting with some guy called 1000.
This
And
is
if
the
you
real
want
cat.
to buy some gifts for the friends in your life,
Thanks, Verizon.
I don't know who this guy is. I don't know if he's any good. I think he's one of the funniest. He's one of the funniest people on screen through the whole stream. Because for one thing, I'll let you decide, but I'll play some audio, some of the stuff that he says. Do you get the impression that he is just extremely stoned? Is it just me?
Hey, welcome back, guys. Freaking missed you.
Next up, the whole premise is that he's going to be doing live painting, like over on this other set, this other part of the set, the whole time, and then they'll keep cutting back to him and see this incredible painting that he produces. So aside from the painting itself, which here it is, I know that art is subjective, but like if a middle schooler did that, you would be like, wow, oh, look at that. You got like the shading and the snow and everything. But best of all, like I said, the whole premise is he's painting this live. Listen to what he says. And I think it's like the second time they cut back to him.
I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. This background, yesterday during rehearsal, I painted a lot of that. I'm not quite this fast.
And on top of that, just blatant admission. Why did he even say that? Why did he feel the need to tell everybody that he just like cheated on the live painting challenge? Okay, we gotta move on. 1000 is one of my favorites though, and I hope he's doing well. God bless him. I hope he got a nice fat check from this. You did your best, kind of. Okay. Ooh, this might be my single favorite segment in the whole stream.
Oh boy.
Is what do they call it, like Christmas Whispers or Holiday
Winter
Whispers with Alex Wasabi. He's apparently some influencer guy. I don't know if he's an ASMR influencer. I don't get that sense, because here's the thing. Based on my limited knowledge, I think that ASMR takes like a certain amount of actual skill. You have to learn what actually works, what your specific audience wants, what kind of sounds, work, what kind of mic works for you. I think there's a genuine level of craft to that, even though it's not necessarily something I really enjoy. I'm not part of this community, but I almost feel like the ASMR community should be insulted by this so-called ASMR segment.
wow, that is very clean. It doesn't need to be spelled out.
The headline on this one is that it's without a doubt the most stressful segment in the entire show for me. Like, just trying to pay attention to this and the pacing of it, it really does make my body like seize up. Like, I don't know if you've ever had that experience of, I don't know, maybe when you were a kid, you were kind of like on a sugar high and you just like couldn't control yourself and you're just like, I'm so hyper, I just gotta do stuff. And then after the fact, you're like, what was I doing? Crazy. If you drink like a lot of coffee, you just end up in this terrible headspace of like anxiety. You're spiraling everywhere at the same time. You're trying to think of so many different things. You cannot slow your brain down at all. That's what this, well, the whole show, but especially the ASMR segment feels like to me, because they don't stop. They don't stop for a second. There's no, everything is as fast as possible, and they keep talking, and it's often 3 different people talking or making sounds at the same time, and the sounds they come up with just sound like immediately annoying and awful. And if someone was doing that in real life,
I apologize for what
like,
you're about to hear.
could you please stop? Like, this is a place of work.
Oh my god.
I wanted to be triplets.
Oh my god.
It was.
Sweet Christ.
Of course. So they started.
And then the last major point that I'll touch on is the choice of music. So often they just won't have any music at all. Apparently they just have like 2 or 3 songs that they
Two
can
that they had to
layer as a
credit, as it
music
turns
bed
out.
in the background.
It's
One
all
of
free
these
stuff, though. They
songs
didn't pay
is an
a dime.
aggressive post-bop,
Oh, I love this
somewhat
part.
dissonant jazz interpretation of some holiday tune. And there are
Hold on,
times where
Katamari,
it's
hold
so loud and intrusive that we just reach absolute perfection.
Oh,
I
man.
forgot. You're supposed to keep this on. Okay. I'm going to make mine just a little different. I didn't see this. Oh, we've got some sugar. We've got some sugar.
This is
And
real.
I'm going to dip it. It's going to replicate. Wait, what are you doing? Whoa, hey, why are you doing that? Yelling at me? Am I doing this wrong? I'm going to actually use a small hat. So the sugar on the frosting replicates.
There are a handful of moments in this stream where everything comes together absolutely perfectly,
Oh,
and
it's
you
beautiful.
just think, I will never see something like this again. This is a very special moment, and I guess that's my big takeaway for everybody, is that this really is something special. The last somewhat comparable thing I can think of is like that famous YouTube rewind video that got disliked into absolute oblivion. But this stream is doing very well in the likes and dislikes department. It's got over 1 million views already a few days after the fact, and a lot of the comments I've seen so far have been extremely positive. I looked at some of the stuff in the chat, and it was very positive there too. I don't know, I guess it's the fan base. I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, if they only ever intended the stream to go out to the existing fan base, get plenty of views that way, get our money's worth. But like I said, they were advertising this to me so strongly and so aggressively on YouTube. To me, I've never interacted with any of their social media stuff. I can't say that I
So
even
many
really
memes,
engage
so
with
much
creators who are
potential
somewhat
here.
similar to them on YouTube. So
It
they
breaks
just,
my heart.
apparently they just ended up advertising it to everyone. Who cares? It's really good to go in blind. But honestly, I think I have to stop. I'm sorry. I knew this was going to be rambly, but I think it stretched on a little bit too long. I hope you get something out of it. Get some moments of holiday joy. It's very special to me, and I'm interested to see how my relationship with this stream develops over time. But that's about it for now. I promise I'm working on very normal videos where I talk about media and shows and reviews and things like that, and animation. I just had to get this out as quickly as possible because I'm still so energized by the whole thing that I wanted to capture that moment for better or worse. That's all. Please let me know what you think. Please have a look at this stream, and thanks for stopping by.
Okay. Well, if you stuck around till the end of that, you win. Like, you have my utmost respect. I absolutely didn't plan for this whole thing to turn into like borderline terrible performance art, but Viacom here kind of forced my hand and has enacted some of the... There's an Amazon truck and a plane at the same time. It's like the perfect ambiance. This is the most aggressive content ID I've ever come across, and I've never had anything blocked except for a little clip from a Godard movie. That's it. And it was only blocked in like parts of Europe. And this is insane. And in fact, who knows, maybe even this version will end up getting blocked too. I had to try something. I need to share this stream with people. And I give up. I give up. I've tried everything. Anyway, okay, goodbye. I'm done now. This is over.